Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, November 19th, 2022. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with the first of several shows from last night as WWE presented Smackdown live on Fox from the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut. Kevin Owens was revealed as the fifth and final member of the Babyface's team for the men's War Games match coming up at Survivor Series, joining Drew McIntyre in the Brawling Brutes faction of Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch to take on Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa, WWE Tag Team Champions The Usos, and Universal Champion Roman Reigns of the Bloodline. Owens came out for the closing segment of the show, assisting McIntyre and the Brutes in their in-ring brawl against the Bloodline.
Well, here is someone that knows a little something about War Games. I do believe the Brawling Brutes have found member number 5. Oh man, the prize fighter! Fight, Owens, fight!
Owens would give Reigns a stunner to end the show. The brawl took place following Butch's victory over Zayn in an opening round match of the SmackDown World Cup tournament. Butch is scheduled to face Santos Escobar in a semifinal match next week. An earlier World Cup tournament match saw Mustafa Ali defeated by Ricochet, who will advance to the semifinals next week against Braun Strowman. The winner of the tournament will receive a shot at Intercontinental Champion Gunther. Speaking of Strowman, he achieved a victory last night as well, teaming with the New Day duo of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston to beat the trio of Imperium when Woods pinned Imperium's Ludwig Kaiser. In other results from the show, Karrion Kross beat Madcap Moss by referee stoppage, Shotzi pinned Shayna Baszler due in part to an outside distraction from Raquel Rodriguez, and LA Knight was found in a back room buried under debris following an in-ring promo segment in which he had slapped Bray Wyatt twice in the face after Wyatt apologized to him for headbutting him during a promo segment the week before. AEW presented the Full Gear Go-Home edition of Rampage last night on TNT from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. The main event saw Jun Akiyama and Konosuke Takeshita of TDT Pro Wrestling defeat Eddie Kingston and Ortiz when Akiyama pinned Ortiz after an exploder. This was the first match in the United States for 30-year veteran Akiyama since March of 2019. After the match, Tony Khan announced that Kingston and Akiyama would be going one-on-one tonight on the Full Gear pre-show.
Eddie, he's here one more night. Tomorrow night, right here in Newark, right here in that ring. On the 0 hour, the entire world can watch it, free to the entire world, right there in that ring. Akiyama versus Eddie Kingston.
To open the show, Ricky Starks defeated Lance Archer in a World Title Eliminator Tournament match. Starks is scheduled to face Brian Cage in the semifinal match tonight on the Full Gear pre-show. The winner of the tournament will get a shot at the AEW World Title at a time and place of his choosing. In other Rampage results, Hook retained the FTW title against Lee Moriarty, bringing his AEW record to 16-0, and Athena beat Madison Rayne. Athena attacked Rayne and referee Aubrey Edwards after her victory, but was run off by Ring of Honor Women's World Champion Mercedes Martinez. Full Gear takes place tonight live on pay-per-view from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. WrestleTix reported as of yesterday morning that 11,499 tickets had been distributed for the event, with 825 tickets remaining available. That attendance figure exceeds the attendance of AEW's last pay-per-view All Out, as well as the previous 3 editions of Full Gear. Impact Wrestling presented Overdrive live last night on pay-per-view from the Old Foresters Paris Town Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. The main event saw Josh Alexander retain the Impact World Championship, pinning Frankie Kazarian after a C4 spike. Bully Ray stormed the ring following the match and announced he was cashing in his Call Your Shot trophy for a title shot against Alexander at Impact's next pay-per-view Hard to Kill on January 13th. Bully Ray then blindsided and attacked Alexander and threatened Alexander's wife with a piledriver to close out the show.
I'll take your hands off of Jen. You no, don't move. Don't move. Don't move. You move, she takes the country. I pile driver on the country. Don't move. Don't move. No. Don't move. Don't move. Don't get your championship. Get your championship. Get him the championship. Get him the championship. Put your belt down. Hand me your belt. Hand me your belt. Hand it to me. I swear to God, Josh. I swear. No. Hand it to me. Hand it to me. Back up.
In the only title change of the evening for any promotion, Trey Miguel beat Black Taurus in the finals of the X Division title tournament to claim the vacant title, scoring the win by pinfall following his lightning spiral finisher. This is Miguel's second X Division championship win. In the show's successful title defenses, Jordan Grace retained the Knockouts title in a last knockout standing match against Masha Slamovich. Heath and Rhino retained the Impact World Tag Team title against the Major Players team of Matt Cardona and Brian Myers when Rhino pinned Myers, and the Death Dolls team of Taya Valkyrie and Jessica Havoc retained the Knockouts Tag Team title over Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans when Havoc pinned Steelz. In other matches, Bully Ray beat Moose in a tables match, and Mickie James beat Taylor Wilde in a match in which James's career was on the line. In Lucha Libre news, legendary luchador Mil Mascaras was honored last night during CMLL's weekly show from Arena, Mexico. Mascaras, who had his first match for the CMLL promotion back in 1964 and his last in 2008, was decorated with the Order of the Rising Sun 5th Class Medal with gold and silver rays, an award from the Japanese government given to those who have made distinguished achievements in international relations, promotion of Japanese culture, or advancements in their field. Among the medal's previous recipients was Dick the Destroyer Beyer. The medal was presented by Noritiru Fukushima, Japanese ambassador to Mexico, in recognition of Mascaras' accomplishments in both countries. Present for the ceremony was Salvador Luderoff III, grandson of the founder of CMLL. In A&E Biography news, WWE is moving forward with its plans to produce a biographical documentary on Paige, better known these days as Saraya in AEW, as part of A&E's Biography WWE Legends series, according to PW Insider. Work on the documentary reportedly began before Saraya Jade Beavis left WWE and signed with AEW in September, and it is not known if she was already interviewed for it or if AEW would allow her to be interviewed for it. No explanation was given as to why WWE made the unusual decision to continue with a project focused on a talent who now works for their competition. With some SummerSlam news, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
WWE is reportedly giving serious consideration to Detroit as the location for next year's installment of the annual summer event, according to Fightful. Indicated by Fightful sources as potential Detroit venues are Ford Field, which hosted WrestleMania 23 in 2007, and Comerica Park. The location for SummerSlam has not yet been officially confirmed. SummerSlam has not been held in the Detroit area since SummerSlam 93, which took place at the Palace at Auburn Hills. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
In injury news, Anthony Bowens of The Acclaimed appears to have suffered a shoulder injury following his Dynamite match against Swerve Strickland last Wednesday. Bowens posted a photo to social media yesterday showing him wearing a sling on his right arm while visiting the offices of Rolling Stone magazine. Wrote Bowens in the post, quote, "Dropped by Rolling Stone earlier today. The only high point of a tough day," unquote. In a later post, Bowen confirmed that he would still be doing his scheduled meet and greet, which took place last night during the Rampage taping at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Bowens was seen favoring his right shoulder during the Dynamite match after taking a hard shot from Strickland that caused an audible cracking sound. With some news from outside the ring, here's the Wrestling News' Lou Kipilman.
Kevin Owens is set to make his acting debut in a new French-Canadian scripted TV series, according to an official press release from Canadian streaming service Crave. Crave will carry the French-language series, which is entitled Bon Matin, Chuck, or Good Morning, Chuck, and described as a dramatic comedy. Nothing was revealed about Owens' role, but his scenes have already been filmed. For the Wrestling News, I'm Lou Kipilman.
And in Japan, one day before their joint historic crossover show with New Japan Pro Wrestling coming up on Sunday, the Stardom promotion ran their Gold Rush pay-per-view this morning from Osaka's Edion Arena. Title matches on the show saw Syuri Kondo make the 10th defense of her World of Stardom Championship, defeating Utami Hayashishita in 28 minutes 14 seconds with her Red World finisher. Saya Kamiatani also retained her Wonder of Stardom title as she wrestled to a 30-minute draw against Kairi, and Azumi made the 8th defense of her High Speed Championship, defeating Momoka Hanazono. During the show, the company also announced its 12th anniversary card titled Stardom Supreme Fight Okini Stardom, and that'll be held on February 3rd, also at the Edion Arena in Osaka. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.